Hey Bridgehampton Middle School, Mr. Barker here, back for our October lesson. As you've probably heard, October is all about National Bullying Prevention and Awareness Month, and it's all about how we can make our school a more safe and positive place and a bully-free zone. So hey, before we jump into that, you know I love to always play a quick game. So I'm gonna play a sound for you, and I want you to try to guess what that sound is. Sounds easy, but you think you can get them all right? Let's get started. Number one. I know that was an easy one. I'm just warming up. Here's number two. Did you say a vacuum? I bet you won't get number three. This one is, you'll never guess this. Did you guess a crazy Star Wars bird? Because that was actually a bird. Can you believe it was actually a bird? I'm not even kidding, that's wild. Hey, so today's character word that we're gonna talk about is super important. It's called respect. Maybe you've heard it in a song before. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Yeah, respect, R-E-S-P-E-C-T. What does that word mean? Respect means you care enough to think about others' feelings before you act. Respect is so important because it shows our friends that we care about them. I have a question. How can we show respect to our friends, our family, or even the world around us? I'm sure you had some awesome answers. You can respect your teachers by listening to them. You can respect our doctors by wearing masks. And you can even respect the world around us by picking up and keeping our planet clean. There's so many different ways to show respect. But you know what? Unfortunately, when we don't show respect and we start being mean to others, we become a word that no one really wants to be called ever. We become a bully and not a buddy. Showing respect is so important because it shows how much we care about others. So now that we know what respect is, what is bullying? Bullying has three important factors that defines bullying. Number one is aggressive behavior. So someone that's being mean to you and just not being nice. Now, number two, there's an imbalance of power. Usually it's someone that's stronger than you, whether they're picking on you because of their physical strength or maybe their mental strength. And number three, this is the most important one. It's a pattern over time. So it's a repeated thing that happens multiple times and more than once. Now, I think we use the word bullying a lot, but I think it's really important that we understand the difference between being rude, being mean, and being a bully. Now, obviously, all three of these things aren't nice, and I hope you never do any of these three. But hey, when we're rude, what does that mean? It means that it's a spontaneous, unplanned kind of thing that happens. You know, sometimes we say you don't think before you speak, and that's being rude, just not really doing the right thing. And now when you're being mean, you're actually purposely doing something to hurt somebody or be mean to them. But bullying, like we've said, becomes a pattern. Bullying is when you're being mean over and over again. Now, going from rude to mean to bullying over a set like time. But like I said, those three things aren't good things, so I hope we never do those. Hey, there's also a difference between conflict and bullying. I want to check out a quick video that explains the two.
So, how do I know if it's really bullying? Let's talk about the difference between normal conflict and bullying. Normal conflict happens occasionally between friends. With bullying, there's a pattern, and the process is repeated regularly. People don't normally plan on having a conflict. It just happens. Bullying isn't something that just happens. It's on purpose. In normal conflicts, both people are usually upset. Friends don't like to hurt each other's feelings. But with bullying, only the target feels upset in that situation. In a normal conflict, one person doesn't have all of the power. But with a bullying situation, one person tries to take all of the power or control. Normally, both friends will admit to a conflict. Bullies usually don't admit to what they're doing, and they often try to blame the target for the situation. Also, friends usually try to work out their problems. Bullies usually don't show any effort to work things out, often because they don't see a problem with what they're doing.
That was an awesome video that explains conflict and bullying. You know, conflict is a normal thing in life. We're all gonna go through conflicts at some point. Maybe you don't see eye to eye with a friend, and you know, sometimes you don't even realize that you're being mean to them, but it's important to come to a solution and work out your problems as friends. So let's dive even deeper into bullying. There are 4 types, and I want you to take a minute and brainstorm the different types of bullying that there are. So number 1, the one that you probably thought of the most is physical bullying, when you're hitting, you're kicking, or hurting someone and just not being nice in a physical way. Number 2 is verbal bullying, so things that you say that aren't being nice, whether you're making fun of somebody over time or the way they look, just verbalizing and verbal bullying. Now, social bullying is excluding others, maybe at recess or on the playground or in your class. Social bullying is just kind of an embarrassing thing. Maybe you're spreading rumors. And then the 4th one, this might be something that hits home for some of you and is more common now that we're in virtual learning. Cyberbullying is when you're actually bullying someone over the internet. Because remember, it's really easy to flex behind a keyboard and say things that are mean when you don't actually see someone in person. So we always want to be mindful of the words that we are saying. Now, here's an important question. Why do we bully? It's important to learn about the behavior of why someone might bully. Why don't you take a minute to think about it? Maybe you want to feel, strong and powerful. Maybe you want to feel better about yourself. That could be a reason. You have low self-esteem. Maybe you want to do it to be cool or popular. Maybe you think it's cool to be mean and to make fun of others. And maybe it's peer pressure. Maybe you have friends that are telling you that you should do that, and you kind of give into it. Number 5, maybe you've been bullied before. Sometimes you have to look at yourself and say, man, am I taking out what I've been treated before to others? And the last one might be a lack of character. We talk about that big word character, of who you are when nobody's around. And how are you acting? If you don't have good character, then you're probably not going to be nice to others. Now, we've talked about why people bully, but what can we do if we're being bullied? I know this is so much easier said than done, and a lot of these things you might feel like maybe you've done in the past that didn't work, but it's good to have some things under your tool belt that you can try to use if you feel like you're being bullied. Now, number 1, of course, try to work it out. You could talk to the bully about your feelings and just kind of say like, hey, I don't like that. Now, you could always try to walk away and talk to someone about it, whether it's me or your teacher or your parent or someone you trust. You can even try to use humor. If someone says, oh, I think your shoes don't look good, you can laugh it off and say, oh yeah, I don't like the color purple. Just using humor can actually help the situation as well. And of course, stay positive, be confident in who you are, because remember, we are all different and we are all cool in our own ways. And surround yourself around friends that aren't going to bully you, because if you have a lot of friends that can stand up for you, then you're more, not likely to be bullied. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. Now, like I said, it's so much easier said than done, but I hope these are some tools that you can use to help yourself in situations. Now, my last question, this is a really important one. What's the difference between a bystander and an upstander? I know you've probably heard this term before, but what is an upstander? Yeah, upstanders stand up for others when they see bullying, right? Bystanders just watch on the sideline. Maybe they're even a part of the problem. Maybe they're the ones filming or laughing and kind of putting fuel on the fire for the bully. That's not okay. You should always say something. Now, upstanders have some really important qualities. Upstanders take action. They tell the bully that it's not okay. They stand up. Now, it's really scary because it takes courage. Maybe you have to stand up to your friend who's being the bully and say, hey, that's not okay. It takes a lot of courage. It takes compassion. Compassion's a big word for just feeling for somebody when they're in pain. You might see somebody that's getting hurt by a bully and you want to take action and say, hey, I feel bad for that person and that's not okay. Now, it also takes leadership. I know all of you have important leadership qualities and you are all amazing students, but being an upstander takes a lot of leadership to help and support others. Now, I do want to go back to that word respect. Now, if you care enough to think about someone's feelings before you act, you will never be a bully. If you follow this one simple rule, it could change your life. Now, if there's one thing that you remember today, it's the golden rule. It's a rule that shines. And what is the golden rule? The golden rule is treating others the way you want to be treated. That is a good one. I want to take a second and reflect and think about that again. I think we need to say it again. The golden rule is treating others the way you want to be treated. Who likes being treated with kindness? Who likes when others listen to you when you talk? Who likes sharing and take turns at all positive things? If you think about how you want to be treated, it'll be a lot easier to treat your friends with kindness. Now, respect is so important because it shows your friends that you care about them. Now, hey, usually I would break out my bully ball and we'd ask some questions in popcorn style, but since we're virtual, I want to play a quick game. I'm going to show you some pictures on the screen, and then I want you to tell me what type of bullying it is. Remember, there's physical, verbal, social, and cyber bullying. You ready? Can you get them all? I'll give you some virtual candy. All right, number 1, which picture is this? Did you say physical bullying? Because you are not right. It is actual social bullying, or verbal bullying because they're laughing at the person. I would say verbal bullying the most. Number 2. Yeah, that is physical bullying. So the girl is grabbing her hair, and probably over time she's done this multiple times on the bus, so that's not okay. Now, number 3, which one is this? Yeah, that is social bullying. You see how they're excluding her, they're kind of gossiping, probably making fun of her. And hopefully, if that girl has been being left out multiple times, then that's some serious social bullying that's going on. And then my last one, I know this iPhone is probably from the dinosaur age, but check this out. Yeah, I hope you never say that to anybody, but that is cyberbullying, and that is a really old iPhone. But guess what? It is not acceptable, and like I said, it's really easy. I think cyberbullying we should address again, because it's really easy to say things behind a keyboard because you're not actually with the person. But remember, we always want to stop and think before we speak or before we type out that text or that email. So, hey, that was awesome. It has been so much fun getting to hang out with you guys. I hope you remember the golden rule and how we should treat others with respect. I will see you next month for our November lesson. Remember, if you want to be on the morning announcements, send me what you're up to. I know you all have some amazing talents and you are awesome. So, hey, share it with the world and have an awesome day.